So here I am at the end of May and I'm sitting in my car in essentially my winter clothes. I guess it's only my raincoat, not my winter coat, because my winter coat broke anyway. The zip got stuck and I had to climb out of it back in January. So that aside, I'm wearing a woolly hat because it's cold and it's raining and it's almost summer. I can't believe it, but never mind. I'm warm now and I have a little bit of time to kill while the kids are at choir. So before I go back in and wait for them there, I thought I'd just record this quick video. I did record it yesterday, but it wasn't so great and I had some weird thing in my hair, so I think I have to re-record it. So I want to talk about monotasking. Monotasking is not something new. I mean, we can say it's a radical new thing, but really it's not. Let's go back to a few years ago. There was a time where being busy meant being important. Multitasking was the gold standard, especially for women. We were expected to do everything at once. We were expected to work, raise the kids, clean the house, to have the mental load of everything and keep smiling at it. And if you weren't complaining and if you weren't busy, then you weren't doing it good enough, or you weren't working hard enough. And if you couldn't juggle a dozen tasks, then were you even trying, But somewhere along the way, we actually forgot something important and essential. The brain isn't actually wired for multitasking. By multitasking, I actually mean by switching between tasks very quickly without quite often even finishing the first task. It's not literally doing things at the same time, it's constantly switching between something. For example, having an email open, writing some of it, stopping because you have a ping on your phone, going to your phone, looking at the notification, going, oh, it's a message from someone on, I don't know, Instagram, replying to that, then starting to scroll and then getting another ping on your phone from a WhatsApp message, then responding to that and then going, oh, actually I need to finish this email, going to your emails, reading an email from someone else that's just come in, start to reply to that, but then your phone rings and then you have two unwritten emails, you've got a message that you've half written as well because your email pinged, and nothing gets done and your brain is just constantly switching from one thing to the other, and that is definitely not what we're wired for. It's definitely not what we're wired for, and it comes at a cost, and it comes at a cost for our productivity. Now, we're supposed to be more productive nowadays, but ultimately, as I think we all know, all this technology has actually made us less productive in many ways. More productive, but at a cost to our mental health and to our ability to do things really properly. I feel that we've all become jack of all trades and master of none. And also the cost of lack of productivity also comes peace of mind. And that really, I feel, is hit hard. Possibly women more because we've always taken on so much more and we really lack peace of mind nowadays. So let's rewind a little bit. Before emails were invented, life was actually quite simple. We may not have thought it at the time, but it was. Think about going to work. Even when email had just started, you'd go in, you'd get a phone call. You'd have an email you wrote and sent, or you'd type a letter, or I don't know. I mean, when I started, we just had email. I had got my first job in 1998, just after graduating. And I had worked in other places where, in fact, it was faxes as a temp, as a student. So we would fax things, but it's all one thing at a time. You'd have your computer, maybe your database. I temped at this company that dealt in metal or something. And we had a database. I'd log into the internal intranet, basically, to locate parts if we had them, that kind of thing, like internal sales. Not outside, nothing pinging, nothing going off. A fax would come through slowly. You go, oh, here's an order, ching, 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 ching. And it was very gentle and very slow. And then you'd have your break and you'd talk to your colleagues over a cup of tea maybe, or by the water cooler. But nobody would be there on their phone scrolling. Nobody would be flitting around looking for something else to do. Attention would be focused on one thing. And that's something we've lost. We've really lost that attention thing. With the onset of all this technology, basically we had productivity apps that came in with it. Well, first productivity apps were just computers. So with the onset of technology, we got phones. First were computers, then we had phones, then we had tablets. We have everything now. And then obviously apps, productivity apps. Hey, how to make everything better, smoother, faster, blah, blah, blah. And we could do 10 things at once, and it was great. But we have to remember, just because you can do everything at once doesn't mean you have to. Let that sink in. Just because you can do everything at once doesn't mean you have to. Remember. And like I said before, I, on a daily basis, used to have multiple emails open at once. I'd start writing an email, quite often an important email that I really had to think about, and then I get distracted with another email from a colleague that I could just reply quickly, 2 words. The other one would stay open. just flit around, always doing other things. It's frustrating now. Even when I work from home, I have two computers open. I have my work computer, my laptop on one side, and my own iMac on the other side. My iMac's too old to have Teams on it anymore, which is why I have my laptop open as well. I used to only work from my iMac. So I have my work computer for Teams, but I email from my other one. But I have email on my other one. It's both open at the same time, which is ridiculous. But it's the way it seems to work for me, but it doesn't. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't work for me. So going from multitasking, what is monotasking? Mono obviously means one, singular, one, mono, not zero, one. And it means doing one task at a time. And it's not saying that we're lazy or our brains can't handle more than one thing. Our brains can't handle multitasking continuously. We can multitask. We could do two things at once. I can listen to the radio and chop some vegetables. You know, I can make the bed and listen to a podcast. I can even sew up a hole in some socks and watch TV at the same time. That's not the point. The point is that, what is the point? So it's not that our brains are lazy or that can't handle more. It's that our brains aren't made and wired to handle multiple things at once. That's the point. And our brain works better doing one thing at a time, streamlined one thing. Even if I'm chopping vegetables and watching something on Netflix on my Alexa screen in the kitchen, I'm probably not focusing so much on the job in hand. I can do it because it's easy, just like I can do certain things at work because they're easy, but I may not be doing them to my best ability. And we have to decide what's more important and what we want to do as a monotask or a multitask. And think about it. When you're completely immersed in a task, let's say washing up or making the bed or putting laundry away, something like that, if you really focus on what you're doing, you can really get in the flow and you can get immersed in it and you can really enjoy it. I actually put off putting clothes away for days on end, and then a family of 4, and then I end up with just a literal mountain on the bed of clothes. It's huge. And I stand there just overwhelmed, and then I often put a podcast on or even a YouTube video in the background that I can listen to, and then I put all the clothes away. I sort them into category first per person, and then, you know, first the kids, okay, t-shirts, pajamas, whatever. But I find that honestly, even if I don't listen to something and I just focus on the clothes, I do it faster, I do it more efficiently, I'm less frustrated, and I kind of enjoy it, and I really get in the flow. And I can put this mountain away in 20 minutes, whereas if I constantly put it off and I'm trying to find something on YouTube or trying to find a podcast to listen to, I can spend 20 minutes trying to find something to entertain me while I'm doing it, when I could have actually done it in that time. This is the ridiculous thing. So if we just grab the bull by the horns and do the thing and really do it properly, then it's fine, it's easy. And also, while you're in this flow state, if you think about how good it is to be able to do this, think about, wow, I'm so lucky. We have all these clothes we can afford. We have these cupboards we can put the clothes in. Our kids have enough clothes to wear. We have a washing machine that can wash all our clothes. We're lucky, and I should be grateful that I'm able to do this. So many people in the world would dream of having a pile of clothes to put away. So turn it around to not being a chore and actually being something amazing and something you're grateful for and something that can actually be enjoyable. Then it can be fun. And this is the way to focus on each individual task. And that way you will actually get things done faster, more efficiently, and quite enjoyably, I would say. Now, the issue is that we are in the middle of an attention crisis. Short form content, long form content not so much, but short form content started very much by TikTok, and now we have Reels and YouTube Shorts, and they're all the same basically. They have really made people's brains frazzle a little bit. Well, there is a literacy issue in schools. Kids don't learn to read properly, they can't focus on something, they can't even watch a long form video. You have some kids, they can't even watch a movie, they get bored after 5 minutes. It's unbelievable, they flip between things. It's just how it's not even kids, actually, it's adults as well. People that spend hours doom scrolling on shorts have no attention. They cannot focus more than 10 seconds, and this means they can obviously not focus at work on doing one thing, and they will start one thing, do another. Multitasking is unfortunately something that's become so prevalent. People do it because that's what they've always known, because it's been something they've done for years, but at the same time, because they have no attention, they can't do it properly and they can't focus on it and they forget what they're doing. I mean, I've been the same. I did get into TikTok briefly for a year when I did social media for a company back in 2021. and I had to post videos on the TikTok channel and Instagram and everything. And I think within that year, I then started my own personal account and I was on it, and it was kind of cool. And then suddenly I had to step back and wait, this is not cool, this is actually scary. And then they introduced it on YouTube after that, I think. But I never do. If I do watch a short, I'll maybe watch 2 shorts on YouTube and then I stop. And I really stop myself doing it because I'll be gone for 3 hours and I'll hate myself afterwards. So the problem is there's a massive attention crisis and people do not have the attention span of being able to watch a movie, being able to read a book. And the whole literacy thing is also an issue with books. How many people can actually sit down and read a book nowadays? I'm in a book club. I joined it maybe 3 years ago. It's an English speaking one, and I've made some really great friends there actually. And we meet up maybe every 6 weeks. I think we've all got kids. Yeah, I think we do. We've all got kids similar ages. It's actually coincidental. And it's really got me back into reading. I used to listen to audiobooks a lot, or I'd read things on my Kindle so I could read at night in bed when my kids were asleep next to me. But I've loved getting back into books properly. And the bookshop here, Hugendubel, which is a big bookshop here, has a huge section of English language books now, and they're not even too expensive. They're a little bit priced up, but maybe 12 or 15 euros for a book that would be £8 in England. So just a little bit, and it's great because I can choose rather than have one little shelf of 10 books. They have whole sections of loads of books. So it's my treat quite often once a month. If I'm here, I'm not doing it today because it's too cold. Plus I bought a book last week that I haven't finished yet. And then I can do it, and I've really got into books. I've read 1 book in a day. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 weeks. But I found since I've been in the book club, I actually read more, better, faster, and I take in more. When I first joined, everyone would laugh because I would be the one who'd say, I haven't finished the book, I haven't started the book, I haven't even bought the book. I'd just go along and they'd discuss the book and I'd drink wine. So there was that. It's a social aspect, obviously, as well. But now, really, I'm always the one. I've finished the book, I've got opinions about the book, and I love it, and I look forward to the next one. And in between, I read other books. I didn't used to even read the book for book club every 6 weeks. Now I'm reading the book club book and at least 1 or 2 books in between. So it's amazing. It's changed a lot, and it shows how we can train our brains. We can go from multitasking to monotasking, and we can train ourselves to do that. It may take time, but it is possible. The issue is also that because our colleagues expect us to be available all the time, even bosses, we are constantly on edge, we're constantly on alert. I mean, I just took my kids into choir, and as I'm walking in, it was about 4:45, so I'm basically done with the day. My big boss from Canada messages me, oh, have you got a moment to talk? So I go into mass panic. Yes, give me 5 minutes. Drop the kids. I'm like, I'll come back. If not, I'll see you afterwards. You know, my little guy is a little bit anxious at the moment, so I didn't really want to leave him. But then I've got anxiety not responding to my boss. So I run out here and I call him, and we had a 10-minute chat and it was completely fine, just some stuff. And I went back in, and the kids hadn't started yet because we got here a little bit early today. So I was able to say bye to him, and he was okay. He didn't cry, but he's been very anxious at the moment. Since the Easter holidays, he's cried most mornings going into school. I'm not sure why. He's 7 years old. I think it's the 7-year mental shift that he's going through, but it's a little bit emotional. But here I am, worried about my kid, worried about my boss who's messaging me. If he'd emailed me, I wouldn't have seen it instantly, but it popped up on a Teams message. And this gives us anxiety, and it makes us do things immediately. So here I am, multitasking, dropping the kids, calling my boss, trying to get my headphones in, trying to connect them while he's already waiting and talking. And then I'm trying to find a bit of paper. Like you can see, I scribbled some notes on a bit of paper while I'm talking to him in the car. Yeah, yes. You know, it's ridiculous because he doesn't expect me to jump like that. But I am putting that pressure on myself because I always want to be available. I want to be the person who's approachable and who gets things done. And this is how we feel about work quite often, that we always need to be available. Like if the phone goes at 9 o'clock at night, people will often answer it. I don't anymore. I used to, but I don't. But I might answer a message if it's important. If it's not important, I'll read it. I'll respond the next day. So we need to carve out boundaries when we're available and when we do multitask from a work perspective, for example, and friends and relatives. Just because someone's messaging you, if it's not urgent, doesn't mean you have to apply. But that's another conversation anyway. Now, how you can even set more boundaries, especially at work, which is what I've started to do. I remember doing this years ago. I've gone through phases of doing this depending how busy I am at work. I use an app called Focus, which is just a browser, I have in my, it's actually like a website browser, and you put in 3 tasks. It's like a Pomodoro timer basically, which is a 25-minute timer, and then you have a 5-minute break to go for a walk, get a cup of coffee or something, and stretch your legs, and then another 25-minute timer. So you put in these 3 things. There's a paid version where you can put in, I don't know, 100. 3 things is good. And then it times it, and it says this, you choose the background and everything, and then the timer goes off after 25 minutes. And I found that since I've started using this, I actually get almost everything done within 25 minutes. I could be putting together a LinkedIn post, for example, for my company, and it could take me 2 hours to write it because I'm not focusing on this. I could do it in 15 minutes and put together the words and find the image and reword it and change things and find the hashtags and find the accounts of companies or people to tag. You know, it's little things, and I could do it within the 25 minutes, quite a complicated one sometimes, versus the 2 hours because I'm just constantly in all different directions. So that's a really good thing at work to do. Really use the Pomodoro timer. You can even just get normal timers, or just set a time on your phone even, and focus on one thing while you're doing that. Now you can turn off Teams if you have that, or Slack, or whatever notifications you have. You shouldn't have to be available all the time. I know with Teams and Outlook anyway, they now have a focus thing where you can put it on focus. It's on do not disturb, and nobody can contact you unless you designate certain people. So I've got my boss obviously in, who could contact me if there was something important, but I will turn this on if I'm focusing, if I'm writing a release or something. I work in communications, then I can really focus. Or I even shut down my email, and this is the best thing to do. Turn off your email, turn off your Teams, even your Slack, your all other notification things. I'm sure there are plenty more, I just don't know them. And really focus, and there won't be any pings going off. You can even set these focus things on your phone now. I haven't done it, but I know you can have different settings where certain apps will or won't contact you, and then you can really focus on what you're doing. Honestly, I can do a full day's work in 4 hours rather than 7 or 8 hours if I'm focused, and it's working smart and not hard. And that's where monotasking, even though you're doing one thing at a time instead of 5 things at a time, you end up doing them faster, better, more efficiently, and more clear-headed. And I'm sure there are more other points, but I've only got 5 fingers on this hand. But try it. Honestly, it's a really, really, really good way to work. And I find in a personal way, for example, doing the washing up, we have a dishwasher, but there's always something to wash up, or if it's full, then I'll just wash everything up by hand. I find that I just get into the flow, and emotionally it feels quite nice doing something that's worthwhile, and it gives me like a human feeling, like just, I don't know, like a connection to just each item I'm washing up, and each thing, like, oh, this is my favorite cup, and you know, this is my boy's favorite little plate, and I'm just, I don't know, it's just a gentleness. There's a gentle slowness doing something with precision and just focusing on that one thing. It's a nice thing. Get in the flow and do it, and you're not wasting time. You're not spending an hour doing it. You're spending maybe 5 or 10 minutes doing the washing up, or hanging up the washing. That's another thing. I love hanging up washing. I often hang it outside in summertime, not in this weather, but when it's not so rainy and cold, I will hang it outside. And there's something very meditative about hanging out washing on the line, either up high or just on the thingy, drying thing, yes, in the garden. And the thing is, multitasking isn't a bad thing, and sometimes multitasking is good and important, and it's good that we can do it. It's a very good human skill to be able to multitask. I don't think my cat used to multitask. He'd catch a mouse and play with it. He wouldn't catch a mouse and play with it and you know, wash his bum and meow at me at the same time. You know, they focus on things. Being adaptable has made us so successful as a human race, but at the same time, focusing back on what made us good in the first place and able to do things properly is important. So we need to decide basically what we want to do and when we want to do it, and then we focus on it, and then we do it properly. Or if we know we can do things, you know, 2 or 3 things at a time, that's fine as well. I can drive and listen to the radio. I can drive, listen to the radio, have a conversation with the person next to me. You know, I can drive, listen to the radio, have a conversation with the person next to me, and give a car driver the middle finger. You know, that's multitasking in many ways. So it's just, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but we should try and rethink how we live our lives and how we multitask, how we can monotask to make our lives easier and gentler, and how we can step back just a little bit and live a gentler, slower life. I'm trying to live a slower life. I'm failing on almost every level, but I have moments where I feel like just massive wins, massive successes. Even just half an hour in the morning doing something for myself can really make a difference to the day. So yeah, let me know, what do you do to monotask? Do you use Pomodoro timers? Do you use any other timers? Do you just shut everything off? Are you able to shut off? I mean, I can focus with noise going around me. I worked in the business newsroom for many years. I can have people next to me having a conversation and I can't hear what they're saying because I get in the flow. So I naturally can actually monotask if I put my mind to it. But I also am easily distracted if I'm tired and not quite with it. Just leave me a comment and let me know one thing you did today and what you did well, and did it make a difference to how you would have done it otherwise. Okay, so I'm going to go now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If it was interesting, maybe give me a little thumbs up. It helps the algorithm massively, and I could do with a few more views. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you, and bye. Cheerio.